Discipline is not a punishment. It is not something that limits your freedom or makes life smaller. Discipline is the opposite. It is the key that opens the door to freedom, because without discipline, you will always be a slave to impulses, emotions, and distractions. Most people think that freedom means doing whatever they want, whenever they want. But if you really look deeply, you will see that this type of freedom is just another form of prison. It is the prison of laziness, the prison of comfort, the prison of weakness. True freedom is to be able to decide clearly, act with strength, and follow through no matter what your feelings try to tell you. Discipline gives you this freedom. When you wake up in the morning, there is always a choice. You can stay in bed, press snooze, and let comfort guide you. Or you can rise, even when you don't feel like it, and show yourself who is in control. Every time you make the disciplined choice, you build inner strength. Every time you give in to comfort, you weaken your foundation. Life is not decided by one big action, but by hundreds of small ones. The decision to wake up, the decision to work on yourself, the decision to keep going when the body says stop. This is where discipline grows, and this is where true freedom is found. Without discipline, you cannot trust yourself. You will say, I will start tomorrow, and tomorrow never comes. You will promise yourself big dreams, but the actions will never match. And deep inside, you know it. That is why so many people feel restless, unfulfilled, and lost, because they live without structure, without discipline. A life without discipline becomes a life without respect for yourself. But once you start practicing discipline, something changes. You begin to look in the mirror and actually trust the person staring back at you. You know that when you make a promise to yourself, you will keep it. And this builds confidence not from outside, but from inside. Discipline is not about doing what is easy. It is about doing what is necessary. Think about the strongest people in history, the ones who shaped themselves and influenced others. They did not build their lives by chasing comfort. They built by sacrificing comfort, by choosing the hard path again and again. And because of this, they created something bigger than themselves. If you want to grow, you must understand that discipline is the soil in which growth takes root. No discipline, no growth. No discipline, no success. But here is something very important. Discipline is not something you are born with. It is something you practice every single day. The first time it feels difficult. The second time it feels heavy. But each repetition makes you stronger. Just like training the body, discipline trains the mind. At the beginning, you may fight with yourself. You may hear the voice that says, rest, quit tomorrow. But if you keep choosing discipline, that voice grows weaker and a new voice grows stronger. The voice that says, keep going. You are stronger than this. You decide. That voice will carry you when motivation is gone. That voice will lead you to freedom. Some people say, I don't have motivation. But motivation is temporary. It comes and goes like the weather. You cannot build your life on something so weak. Discipline is not about waiting to feel motivated. Discipline is about standing up and acting even when you feel nothing. And this is where the transformation begins. Because once you prove to yourself that you can act without waiting for the perfect feeling, you realize that nothing can stop you anymore. No mood, no emotion, no situation. Discipline makes you unstoppable. Look at your life right now. How many things have you wanted to do but never started? How many times have you given in to excuses? How often have you let comfort steal your potential? This is the cost of living without discipline. And if you continue on that path, nothing will change. You will still dream, still talk, still wish, but never create. And at the end of your life, the greatest pain will not be failure, but regret. Discipline saves you from regret. Every moment you have a chance to practice. When you feel lazy, it is your opportunity. When you want to quit, it is your chance. When everything feels heavy, this is the perfect time to strengthen discipline. Do not run from these moments. They are your training ground, and the more you practice, the easier it becomes. until discipline is no longer a fight, but simply who you are. This is the truth. Discipline builds freedom because when you live with discipline, you are no longer controlled by impulses. You are no longer a slave to laziness. You are no longer trapped by weakness. You are free, free to create, free to grow, free to live at your highest potential. And this is the freedom worth fighting for. The way you start your morning decides the rhythm of your entire day. If you begin in chaos, the whole day will be chaotic. If you begin in weakness, the whole day will be weak. But if you begin with clarity, with strength, with intention, the whole day will follow that direction. This is why your morning ritual is not just a routine. It is a declaration of who you are and how you choose to live. When you first open your eyes, your mind is empty, fresh, unshaped. It is like soft clay, waiting for you to form it. Most people take this precious moment and waste it. They grab their phones, scroll through noise, and immediately invite distraction into their mind. Before they even stand up, their focus is already scattered. They have given away the most powerful part of the day to meaningless things. And then they wonder why they feel restless, unfocused, or weak. But the truth is simple: how you begin shapes how you continue. A morning ritual is not about complexity. It is not about having the perfect plan or following what someone else does. It is about one thing: control. Control of your body, control of your breath, control of your mind. The moment you rise, you must take command of yourself. This could mean stretching your body, moving with intention, feeling your breath. It could mean sitting in silence and calming the mind before the world begins to shout. It could mean writing down what matters, reminding yourself of your purpose. The form does not matter as much as the principle. You decide, not the world. When you take the first hour of your day for yourself, you are telling life, I am in charge. You are programming your mind to focus, not to react. You are giving yourself energy instead of leaking it to distractions. And this energy carries forward. The focus you build in the morning becomes the focus that guides your work, your training, your growth. If you wake up and immediately consume, you stay in the pattern of consuming all day. If you wake up and create, you stay in the pattern of creating. This is why mornings are powerful. They decide which version of yourself will live that day. There will always be excuses. You will tell yourself you don't have time. But the truth is, you don't need hours. You don't need to wake up and run a marathon or meditate for half a day. Even 10 minutes of disciplined, intentional practice in the morning is enough to set your mind on the right path. The power is not in the length, but in the consistency. A short ritual repeated daily becomes stronger than a long ritual done once in a while. It is not about perfection. It is about repetition. Ask yourself, how many days have you wasted because you began without clarity? How many times did you let tiredness control you and the whole day slipped away? How often did you allow your morning to be stolen by distractions? And as a result, the rest of the day was already lost before it began. If you want to change your life, change your mornings. Because when you win the morning, you win the day. And when you win enough days, you win the life you desire. The morning is also where discipline is tested most strongly. When the alarm rings, you face the first battle of the day. Do you rise or do you surrender? If you rise, you train strength. If you surrender, you train weakness. It is that simple. Each choice is like a seed. If you plant the seed of strength in the morning, it will grow throughout the day. If you plant the seed of weakness, it will also grow. So do not underestimate this choice. The first decision after waking is the foundation of all others. The ritual is not only physical, it is also mental. You must decide what thoughts will guide you. You must feed your mind with clarity, not with noise. If you start the day with intention, the mind becomes sharp. If you start with chaos, the mind becomes scattered. A single thought in the morning can carry power for the entire day. This is why you must be careful what you allow into your mind in the first moments of waking. Choose silence, choose strength, choose focus. These are the seeds of growth. Over time, your ritual will become natural. It will no longer feel like effort, but like breathing. You will not ask whether you should do it. You will simply do it because it has become who you are. And this is when the transformation truly happens. Your mornings will no longer belong to chance. They will belong to you. And when you control your mornings, you begin to control your life. Remember this truth: your mornings are a mirror. They reflect your discipline, your clarity, your commitment to growth. If you start strong, the reflection will be strong. If you start weak, the reflection will be weak. So do not treat your morning lightly. It is the most powerful part of the day because it decides everything that follows. Take it, shape it, command it, because the way you rise decides the way you live. People often wait for the big breakthrough, the life-changing moment that will transform everything overnight. But life does not work like that. Transformation does not come from one grand act. It comes from countless small steps repeated with patience and discipline. Success is built in silence, in the moments no one sees, in the decisions that seem small, they almost look meaningless. But it is those small wins that carry the weight of your future. Think about a mountain. You don't climb it in one leap. You climb it step by step, each step small, each step ordinary. But after thousands of small steps, you stand at the peak. The same is true for growth. Each action may feel tiny, but together they form something powerful. Reading one page, doing one set of exercises, writing one paragraph, meditating for 5 minutes alone. These actions don't look impressive, but repeated day after day, they change the direction of your life. The reason many people never grow is because they underestimate small wins. They look for the dramatic. They want instant results. When they don't see them, they quit. But the truth is, big success is nothing more than small success multiplied. If you want to become stronger, begin with a single push up. If you want to be wiser, begin with a single page of learning. If you want peace of mind, begin with a single breath. Small steps are not weak. They are the foundation of strength. The mind plays a trick. It tells you this is too little. It doesn't matter. But every action matters. Every choice matters. When you ignore the small, you lose the big. When you honor the small, the big comes naturally. Every time you choose discipline in a small way, you train yourself. You tell your mind, I can be trusted. And when you trust yourself in the small, you will trust yourself in the great. Without small victories, big victories are impossible. Look at your life right now. How many times have you set huge goals and then abandoned them because they felt too heavy? This happens because you tried to jump too far, too fast. You ignored the power of small wins. Growth is like building a fire. You don't start with a giant flame. You start with sparks. Sparks turn into small flames. Flames grow into fire. If you feed the fire every day with small actions, it becomes unstoppable. But if you wait for a giant flame to appear by itself, you will sit in the cold forever. Celebrate the small wins. They may look ordinary to the world, but they are extraordinary to your future. Waking up early one more day, drinking water instead of something harmful, spending time learning instead of wasting time on distractions. These choices shape the person you are becoming. Every win, no matter how small, shifts your identity. It says, this is who I am now, and identity is the most powerful force in growth. Most people quit because they measure too fast. They look for results after 1 week, 1 month, and when they don't see dramatic changes, they give up. But a tree does not show its growth every day. Roots grow deep before branches stretch high. The process is invisible at first, but one day, what was hidden becomes visible. The small daily wins that seemed to produce nothing suddenly reveal everything. You will look back and realize how far you've come, not by accident, but by consistent, invisible effort. There will be days when you feel nothing is changing. There will be days when the small actions feel boring, repetitive, and without reward. But these are the most important days, because if you continue through boredom, through silence, through the unseen, You prove to yourself that you are not dependent on excitement. You are guided by discipline. You are guided by vision. And that is where true strength is built. The world will always celebrate the results, the trophy, the success, the achievement. But the truth is, those results are only the surface. What truly matters are the small wins that nobody clapped for, the countless days of showing up without recognition. That is the real victory. That is the real growth. When you learn to respect these small wins, life becomes powerful. You stop chasing illusions and start building reality. Remember this truth. Do not despise small beginnings. Do not wait for the big moment. It may never come. Instead, focus on the steps in front of you. Win today, win this hour, win this moment. And when you add enough moments together, the future takes care of itself. This is how you transform, not by waiting for a miracle, but by honoring the small, consistent actions that slowly and surely change everything. Focus on the small wins, and you will wake up one day surrounded by the big ones. This is the path of growth, the path of strength, the path of freedom. The body and the mind are not separate. They move together, they rise together, they fall together. When the body is weak, the mind becomes clouded. When the mind is restless, the body feels heavy. Many people try to fix one while ignoring the other, but this is why they remain stuck. True strength comes when both are trained as one. When you learn to connect them, you discover a balance that cannot be broken. Your breath is the bridge between body and mind. Watch how it changes with your emotions. When you are angry, the breath is fast. When you are calm, the breath is slow. When you are afraid, the breath is shallow. This shows you clearly that the state of your mind shapes the state of your body. But the opposite is also true. If you calm the breath, the mind becomes still. If you move the body with discipline, the mind becomes clear. This is why training begins with awareness of the body, awareness of the breath. They are the doors to self-mastery. If you live only in the mind, you will overthink, you will be restless, you will drown in thoughts. If you live only in the body, you will chase pleasure, chase comfort, and never rise above instinct. But when you unite them, you begin to live with power. The body gives the mind strength, and the mind gives the body direction. This unity is what allows you to move with purpose in life. Without it, you will always feel divided. Look at people who feel trapped in their own lives. They wake up tired, they carry stress in their shoulders, their chest feels heavy, and their mind is filled with noise. Why? Because the body has been neglected and the mind has been left untrained. Hours spent sitting, hours lost to distractions, no time spent in silence, no time spent in movement. Slowly, they forget what it feels like to be alive. But the moment they begin to breathe deeply, move with intention, and train with discipline, something awakens again. The body becomes alive and the mind clears like a sky after a storm. When you exercise the body, it is not just about muscles or strength. It is about training the mind to endure, to stay calm under pressure, to continue even when it is uncomfortable. Every push-up, every stretch, every step teaches the mind a lesson. You can go further than you thought. And when the mind learns this lesson, it carries it beyond training. It applies it to challenges at work, in relationships, in life. The body becomes the teacher and the mind becomes the student. When you meditate or practice stillness, it is not only the mind that benefits. The body feels the peace too. Muscles relax, tension fades, energy flows again. You begin to notice that you are not two separate things, but one. Each breath nourishes both mind and body. Each movement expresses both strength and focus. This is the balance you must seek: strong body, clear mind. Without this balance, growth is impossible. A restless mind will sabotage the strongest body. A weak body will drag down the sharpest mind. But when they rise together, nothing can stop you. You will walk with presence, speak with clarity, act with discipline. People will feel your energy because it will not be divided. It will be whole. This is why the connection must be trained every day. It is not enough to train only when you feel like it. It must be constant, like eating, like sleeping. Even a few minutes each day can awaken the connection. A few deep breaths, a few stretches, a few moments of silence. These small practices, repeated with intention, create a strong bond between body and mind. And once that bond is strong, you can face life with power. Ask yourself now, how often do you pay attention to your breath? How often do you listen to your body? How often do you silence your mind? If the answer is rarely, then you already know why you feel unbalanced. But this can change. It begins with one decision to respect both body and mind equally, to train them together, to live in harmony, not division. Remember, the mind and body are not enemies. They are not separate. They are partners, reflections of each other. Train the body and the mind becomes strong. Train the mind and the body follows. Ignore one and both will fall. Strength, clarity, freedom, all of them live in the unity of body and mind. Build this connection and you build yourself. Break this connection and you break yourself. The choice is yours every single day. Distractions are the silent killers of growth. They do not destroy you in one strike. They eat away at you piece by piece until your time, your energy, and your focus are gone. Most people do not even notice it happening. Hours disappear into meaningless activities, and at the end of the day, nothing important is done. The body feels tired, the mind feels empty, and the soul feels restless. This is the cost of distraction. It steals the life you could have lived. Look around you. Everywhere is noise, screens calling for your attention, people pulling you in 100 directions, thoughts jumping from one thing to another. If you do not take control, you will be controlled. If you do not guard your focus, it will be stolen. And once it is gone, you cannot get it back. The truth is simple. The quality of your life depends on the quality of your attention. If your attention is scattered, your life will be scattered. If your attention is sharp, your life will be sharp. Eliminating distractions is not about living in isolation. It is about choosing what truly matters and removing what does not. You must ask yourself every day, does this action bring me closer to who I want to be or further away? If it brings you closer, it stays. If it pulls you away, it goes. Life becomes powerful when you simplify it. Too many people drown because they hold on to everything. But strength comes from letting go of what is useless. Think about your time as a container. It has limited space. If you fill it with noise, there is no room for what is important. But if you clear out the distractions, suddenly there is space for growth, for clarity, for peace. A cluttered environment creates a cluttered mind. A focused environment creates a focused mind. This is why simplifying your surroundings is the first step to eliminating distractions. Clean the desk, organize the space, remove what is not necessary. The external order reflects the internal order. But distractions are not only outside. The greatest distractions live within you. Doubts, fears, impulses, unnecessary thoughts, these are louder than any noise around you. You must learn to silence them. How? By awareness. Notice when your mind drifts. Notice when you reach for comfort instead of purpose. Notice when you escape into distractions because you fear the discipline of growth. Once you see it clearly, you can choose differently. Without awareness, distraction controls you. With awareness, you control distraction. There will always be temptations, entertainment, comfort, endless scrolling. They promise relaxation, but they deliver emptiness. They promise joy, but they leave regret. The question is not whether distractions exist. They always will. The question is whether you are strong enough to rise above them. Every time you choose focus over distraction, you build power. Every time you give in, you weaken. Discipline is the shield, focus is the sword. Without them, you are defenseless. Imagine how much of your life has already been lost to distraction. Days that could have built your strength, wasted. Hours that could have been used to grow, gone. This truth should not make you regret. It should make you wake up because the next day is still in your hands. The next hour is still yours. You cannot change the time already stolen, but you can protect the time that remains. Eliminating distractions does not mean doing more. It means doing less, but doing it with complete presence. One task, one action, one moment fully lived is worth more than 100 done half-heartedly. This is the secret of mastery. Masters do not do everything. They focus on what matters most and cut away the rest. You must do the same. Choose fewer things. Eliminate the noise. Pour your whole self into what remains. That is how greatness is built. At first, it will feel uncomfortable. The mind will crave the easy escape, the quick fix, the distraction that numbs. But if you endure the discomfort, you will discover something powerful. Focus feels better than distraction. Clarity feels better than noise. Growth feels better than comfort. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes, until distraction no longer tempts you, because you have tasted the strength that focus gives. Remember this truth: distraction is not harmless. It is the thief of your future. Every time you choose it, you trade a piece of your potential. Do not let your life be stolen in silence. Simplify. Focus. Protect your attention as if it is your most valuable treasure, because it is. Eliminate what does not matter, and suddenly what does matter will have space to grow. And when you live like this, distraction loses its power and your life becomes unstoppable. Motivation is fragile. It burns bright for a moment, but then it fades. One day you feel unstoppable, the next you can barely move. If you depend on motivation, your life will always be unstable. You will rise and fall with your emotions, with your moods, with the weather. This is why so many people start strong and then stop. They wait to feel inspired before they act. And because feelings are temporary, their actions are temporary too. Motivation is the spark, but it is not the fire. The fire comes from consistency. Consistency is the force that makes success inevitable. It is the quiet repetition, the daily discipline, the simple choice to show up again and again. It does not matter if you feel like it or not. It does not matter if the day is heavy or light. Consistency is stronger than moods, stronger than emotions, stronger than excuses. It is the proof of your commitment. Anyone can act when they are motivated. Only the disciplined can act when motivation is gone. And it is this difference that decides who grows and who remains the same. Think about the strongest structures in the world. They are not built in one day. They are built brick by brick, layer by layer. No single brick looks powerful, but together, repeated without fail, they form something that lasts for centuries. Your growth is the same. One workout does not make you strong. One day of learning does not make you wise. One moment of discipline does not change your life, but repeated daily, these small actions accumulate into transformation. Consistency makes the ordinary become extraordinary. The danger of motivation is that it makes you believe you need to feel good in order to act. But the truth is, feelings are irrelevant. You do not need to feel like doing the work. You just need to do it. This is the essence of freedom. When you no longer wait for the right mood, the right inspiration, the perfect energy, you become unstoppable. You act because you choose to, not because you feel like it. That is consistency. Many people waste years searching for motivation. They read books, watch videos, listen to speeches, always hoping for the next spark of energy to push them forward. But sparks cannot sustain a fire if you do not feed it. What sustains a fire is wood, fuel, repetition, the daily act of adding more, even when it feels boring. Motivation is temporary fuel. Consistency is endless fuel. If you want lasting growth, stop searching for sparks. Start feeding the fire every day. Consistency is also honesty. It shows whether you truly want what you say you want. Anyone can dream. Anyone can talk, but only consistency proves desire. If you want strength, do you train daily? If you want wisdom, do you learn daily? If you want peace, do you practice stillness daily? Without consistency, your words mean nothing. With consistency, even the smallest effort becomes powerful. Do not think consistency is about perfection. You will stumble, you will miss a day, you will fall at times. That does not matter. What matters is returning again and again. The power of consistency is not in never falling, but in always rising. Every time you return, you prove to yourself that failure is not the end. It is just a pause. And over time, the habit grows stronger than the failure. The rhythm becomes natural. What once felt heavy becomes light. What once felt impossible becomes automatic. The secret is to start small, but never stop. If you try to do too much too fast, you will burn out. But if you choose one simple action and repeat it daily, it becomes part of you. From there, you can add more. The strength of consistency is not built in a week, but over months and years. It is slow, but it is certain. And in the end, certainty is stronger than speed. Ask yourself now, how many things have you abandoned because you waited for motivation? How many goals have died because you quit when the feeling faded? This is the cost of living by motivation. But imagine where you would be if you had simply stayed consistent, even at half the speed, even at half the energy. The results would already be here. The future you want is not hidden in more inspiration. It is hidden in daily repetition. Remember this truth: motivation may start the journey, but only consistency will finish it. Motivation is a visitor. Consistency is a companion. Motivation comes and goes. Consistency stays. If you want real freedom, stop chasing feelings and start building habits. Do the work every day, whether the fire inside is burning strong or burning weak. Over time, the fire will never go out because consistency keeps it alive. That is the path of true growth. That is the way forward.